So this is a really cool chart that shows the outstanding debt for the United States since 1790, almost back to the beginning of the origins of the country. But let's just look at that. So it was 71.1 million in 1790, and then you can see 75 million the next year, 80 million a few years later, kind of hung around there, 80 million, 80 million, 83 million, 77, 82, 57 million. Early 1800s it started going down, and this is why the Industrial Revolution is raging on. 53 million, 100 million, so it jumped up in 1815. 127 million, back down to 95 million. You'll see it jump when there's wars, and we're closing in, 1830, 58 million, down to 7 million. So 1830s it really got down, $37,000, $337,000, 3.3 million, 10 million. It starts picking back up as we get closer toward the Civil War. 15 million, 47 million. And then here you can see right around the 64 million, and then jumped up to 100 million, 90 million there in 1861, start of the Civil War. And then you can see it jumped up to 542 million, 1 billion there in 1863 once the war was raging on. 2 billion, 3 billion. It kind of stayed in that 2-3 billion range for a while through the 1870s, and then into the early 1900s. We're still in that kind of 2 billion range. And then obviously you can see once World War I breaks out again, we're kind of 3 billion, and then all of a sudden jump up to 4 billion, 15 billion there in 1918. You can see, and then we're at 27 billion. Then we're getting close to the Great Depression, 1929, 17 billion. And then we kind of stay there for a little while. World War II, we jump up again in the 40s, up to 200 billion, 259 billion. And we stay in that 200 to 300 billion range for a little while. We're still in that range in the 60s. 70s, we're kind of picking up into the 350 billion. And then once we got off the gold standard, it's 400 billion. All of a sudden, it starts getting up to close to a trillion. By the 80s, we're up to a trillion. Mid 80s, 1.5 trillion. By the 90s, we're up to 3.2 trillion. By the 2000s, we jumped up to 5.6 trillion. And then now you can see that in the 2000s, we really started racing up. 16 trillion, 20 trillion, 26 trillion, 30 trillion, 33 trillion as of 9/30/2023. We know that the deficit was almost 2 trillion, so we're over 35 trillion now. And when you zoom out and take a look at this chart, it shows you how crazy parabolic the U.S. national debt's going. So stay safe out there. Figure out how you're going to best navigate the future debt crisis the United States is in. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.